Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how to go through the motions of taking an image and turn it into a pattern. I just found this sunflower online. I really thought it was cute. I think the pattern looked great without the words, and so it's just the image above the petals and the leaves with a background. So this is what we do. I look at how big this image is. Gives me an idea. Now I'm going to open my software. We want the picture to have a lot of pixels and depth to it. So I'm going to create a new project. I want to start doing I have to change the stitch number down to 4 because it takes 4 crochets. That's why my measurements are not working out. So this is the width. Say I'm going to do 120 by 140, yeah. And that gives me 30 by 35. Seems like a pretty good size. What if I do 50? No. I think 140 is good. Now it opens up. The funny part is even though you do that, you still have to now go and import your image. I'm not sure why it does that. Alright, so here's another import window. And what I look for is DMC threads. And we want this one. We want the most basic universal DMC because there are so many variations. So if you just pick this one, threads, that'll work. You can actually hit preview. It'll show you what the image looks like. Hit cancel. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Just choosing my DMC thread if my scroll window would slow down. Okay. If you don't dither a photo and you look at it, what dithering is blending. So you don't dither, you don't blend. And sometimes in an image it actually looks better. So I'm going to pick that one. I'm going to go here and I'm going to change my chart. Now when I zoom in, that's how it's quite difficult to see. What you can do is then go export as a stitched view, small, and then just save it to the desktop. And that's what it would look like. You see all the stitches. So then you can then determine what you need to do to make it either a nice image and you can just compare the two. It is a daunting task to start. So really what I'll do is I'll just close that. I'll actually open the original. Keep that handy. Just make it a little smaller so it can fit up in my side window here. Okay. And now when I go here, here are all the colors that it gives. It's pretty unlimited. Normally it asks, the setting has changed. Normally it asks how many stitches or how many threads do I want to use. So let's try this once more. This is the process that I don't show you of going back and forth. Usually it's just done, ta-da, but this is the painstaking of it. So stitches per inch, we want 4 per inch. Maximum colors, here we go. We want maximum 10 colors because we only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. We don't want it to dither. You want to import stitches. So then you go preview. That's pretty different, isn't it? But it's a little clearer. Clearer for the so that you can see the petals. So we're gonna hit OK. I'm gonna take that one. Much better. So see how you can tell on the palette you have just these little bit of colors now to deal with instead of all of these ones. So then what I'll do is I'll just save this project. I've been calling it Sunflower. Just give me 1 minute to save. Okay. So now once it's saved, we've got the spinning rainbow. We'll close this window. And here is your chart. So now again, I go back and I check my dimensions. And you know, that looks pretty good. Sometimes that's what I've been doing is I let the photo resolution determine how big I'm going to do it. But I'm going to just change this down again to 120 by 140. Hit OK. You want to resize it. And now it is, you know, it's a little vertical with the aspect ratio. If you zoom in, you can actually see that there is a difference in color between the petals so that it wouldn't just look like one giant mush. Here I can confirm that my size is at this now, 30 by 35. And actually if I wanted to, if I do 120 by 120, I'm not sure if it'll resize it. Kind of distorts it a little more. So something we can also do, you just go import, it'll make its own picture, it'll make its own project. So this is the original. Just trying to get to DMC. My mouse is a little quick. So that looks nice. Okay. And you know, you can do the color any way you want. So if you know there's greens and you know I don't like the green, I'll turn that into a brown, and I'll actually recolor it in. So Here we check the size, and this is 50 by 49. Keep the ratio. If I want to reduce it, that's a nice new feature they have. I want to reduce my, I find the 32 is just too small, and 40 is almost too big. But you can make it, you just move these sliders back and forth. 37 by 37. 150 by 150. Sorry guys, I'm just indecisive. Like I think this would be a good size. So there, we've kept it square. And it didn't squish and go vertical on us when we changed the proportion. So that's interesting. It's 140 by 139, which is 140 stitches across by 139 rows. And now we're not going to use the words in this image whatsoever. We're just kind of squinting with our eyes, and you see the colors, and that on a blanket wasn't good. So we're just going to remove those words. Now I'm going to save this. I'm going to overwrite the other project, and now this will be the main project. So something that I look at when I see this, I look at the colors, thinking, okay, which ones do I want to do first? Okay, so I want brown. Now there's a couple easy ways to do this. If I hit this green, I just right click, and I can actually replace active thread, and now that will turn into a nice chocolate brown. So here you can just scroll through all the colors that are available. And I'm going to take this one and see what this looks like. Okay, so there's a lot of brown. Now, the next thing, you can take this color, you can go flash these stitches. So now you can see where all of that color is. So if you were to change it all at once, I kind of want to change it to green, to tell you the truth. You can also highlight the stitches in there so that you can actually look at it and see, you know, if you change it to green, that's what you'll have to color. So you know what, I think I kind of like that. So what I'm going to do is I have to uncheck that box and then go replace active thread, and I'm going to find a green, you know, and that's when, you know, you go and find your yarn color. It always changes totally because you have to sacrifice your dreams for what's available sometimes on the shelves. This one, okay, I'm going to just pick that one. Alright, so I'm just trying to make the image do the work for me before I have to go in and recolor and redraw stuff. Now, what I'll basically do sometimes is I'll highlight almost every color just to see which space they take up. And you know, so that's the dark. That would be like the light. Then you've got white, which is the entire background and the words. And then you've got this one. This is one that can go away. This is interesting. That one can go away. And that one can go away. So basically, what I would do is narrow it down so that I get rid of those two colors. You don't want to just delete them because then you'll have these white square spaces that you'll have a hard time finding later, and they can show up in a pattern and it gets really annoying. So we have this one, that one's out, and then we've got this one and this one. And I always go with like 3 colors for some reason, just to give that impact of depth with the colors. But you can just use 2, and so you'd have this as the main color and this is the darker color, and then that's not necessary, so you could just have those 2. All right, so the next step that I'm thinking about doing is we have to get rid of those colors. So what I will do, I will unhighlight this to see the full image. Then I will pick a really crazy color that'll stand out, that's not even in this palette. So sometimes I'll use red, sometimes I'll use purple. Lavender is a real favorite of mine because I can actually see it stand out. And so what I'll do is I'm going to replace all these there. So now what I will look at, once again, I see this is the dark color, and this would be the lighter color. And so where's the dark? The dark is where the light would be. So my next step, of course, is I highlight this and I just zoom in, and I check my, here these are the pens, I guess, 4 to a square. So I just want to color this out. And I'm just going along and filling in all the lavender with this yellow. Then I can pick my single pencil . Oops. Okay. And then the darker one, come in here, and I usually am quite generous with it because these are the stitches, and so you don't want just one. If you have just one, what might happen Well, you know, with one stitch, it's just terrible to work with sometimes. So in a way, you kind of have to really like to do this and have all the patience and time. So obviously I can't go through and show you the entire process and video of doing this, but I can show it to you in segments as I progress. And so I'm just building a little leaf here to taper off. Go back to the yellow. Now remember all the lavender, that was just pale yellow. And to leave those kind of colors in it would be difficult. So we're trying to keep this easy, on the easy side. In my library, I have a lot of complicated patterns. So now it's time to just go back to a little easier. Now I know some people have patterns that they have diagonal squares, kind of like right here with the two whites. I prefer to always have a staircase between each two. There. Because, oops, it looks nicer and it gives it more space, more spatialness. Okay, so I'm going to pick 9 squares. This one's fun. Now I'm just wondering if these should stay green or if they should go brown. So if we just try this instead. So there. That's just a little bit there. Now we've got all the rest of it to go. So it's going to be a little time consuming, but what I may do is make another part when I'm coloring in the next half here. But what we can do is make it real quick. Pick the huge paintbrush, color all this brown in. There. You can actually do that with the yellow too. Let's see. Kind of. I'm going to take away all those edges too. Those are going to be light yellow. we're just coloring all those lavender squares and greens and browns that were just interspersed in the image. Now there's the dark one. I kind of want to fill that back in here, so that's all I'm doing. Here, do here. This one looks kind of cool if this is a green leaf peeking through. We'll just see if this will work after a minute. Some of you are probably wondering why I don't use my tablet, and I have it. I just, this moment, I just grabbed it too quickly and didn't bother hooking it up. Alright, I think I may have gotten all of it. There. Look at that. From far away, it looks great. You got all these asteroids surrounding it. Not sure yet what to do with that. The next thing to look for is I have to change this palette. It's different again. It's interesting. Usually it tells me this number of stitches. There used to be numbers that would show me exactly. Show stitch count. There it is. There's the lovely thing. It's just, yeah, it's an upgraded version. So there's a lot of new things. And it's just ironing the hiccups out every so often. So I'm not really keen on these blobs. So I'm just going to, I'm not erasing them, I'm coloring them white because the background is already white. And so what I can do then is when I want to change the background, I can change it all as one instead of, you know, these little pieces. And that's kind of why I use only 10 colors on a palette, because A, it's cheaper to buy less yarn, B, less bobbins, and we just got this little bit. Okay, so what I was mentioning is that with this number of stitches, as you can see now, I have what we ultimately want to do is we want to remove these. All stitches, remove active thread from palette. So we remove that. This one is 0. We do the same thing. Active thread, because these colors that are listed will show up in the pattern, and it gets too complicated when there's multiple of the same name. I go slow because I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Here, I can highlight where this, there he is. So, just go and fill in my green. There we go. Now I can delete this one, remove active thread. Okay, so we really have a white, 2 yellows, a brown, and a green. I mean, that's really manageable. Just save my project. When I go white and I say highlight this, there, and it shows you how crisp the outline is. I really like that. You can change it and you can see, oh, see, I see another one. So right in the middle, I'm going to take that and I'm going to fill it in with this. So that's how this also becomes really important. You can see color in the little spots that are missing. Brown, green, dark yellow. And again, see, I see, like, I want them to be staircased because I just find that when they're not, the stitch just hangs there and kind of gets lost. The color, or it has like this, it has a detachment to it. It just doesn't look so great to me. Okay, so now I'm going to look at this wonky leaf. Okay, maybe it's not that bad. This leaf just looks like it kind of doesn't do anything, right? I think it needs to come out and flare a little. Give it some flare there. Sometimes I like to put a different color of green in the middle of the leaf for the seam, but then that just means you'll have to use more. I like that. I almost want another leaf because I really like the greenery. I also fill in the greenery right there. I'm just looking all over the place with a really detailed eye just to see if I spot anything that doesn't seem right to me. And then I zoom out again and we look at it and it looks cute. Something I'm interested in is how many rows do you have to go through before you get the first color, and one of these squares is 10, so you would have to do 140 10 times before you get to the yellow. Now you may ask, well, can we just remove that? And I would say you could, in the sense that if we try to remove it now, it distorts the picture. But once it's written out and you see the first 10 rows are nothing but solid color, and you say you only want 5, go ahead and just omit those first 5 rows and start on row 5. Just cross them out, know that that's where you want to start. Because you still want a little bit of space between the start of the image and the edge of your work. But who's to say you could start right here. You could start your line right across just like that. And that could be your guider. Let's see if we were to do that. If we were to go there to here, right? Just like that, okay. No, see, that don't look good. Right at the bottom here, I have 2 rows exactly from the last leaf. No matter what, I mean, even though the edge says that, the edge is different. Well, no, it's not, I lied. So we could just go like this instead. Sorry, I'm just trying to draw a straight line because I'm trying to do a test that when I have the printed pattern, the written pattern, then it won't be giving us issues. Look at this. Even with this kind of design work, you can make stripes. You could change your colors. You know, if you already know, hey, I want to do this certain little design in these first 10 rows, you could go ahead and do that. Why not? Maybe you could make a honeycomb stitch and then start the green line. So let's just have a look what this looks like from far away. Okay, if you were to do that. Now, what we removed was 10 rows on top and 5 at the bottom, I believe. 10 rows on the top. And 10 rows at the bottom. So instead of it being 140 by 140, it'll be 140 by 130. So you could do that, right? Now the other thing at this point, I would say, give me an image to look at. So I'm going to export the small image, just put it to the desktop. There we go. So now, that's what the images look like, the difference. It looks like it kind of got a little kicked in on this side, huh? Yeah. Like I say, from far away, it looks cool, but up close, it's kind of weird. So let's just change the background, see what mood that gives. Let's see if we make it like, ooh, that's actually nice. Very calming color. Hit save on that. And then you go export Tunisian crochet. And I always click on these all the time. I mean, it is alternate right to left because you're going like a snake, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, so now the thread name and then top to bottom. So what they're saying is that medium light now green, this is where you can actually go in and just change the edit the current thread. So then you're going to go, I'm going to say light green. Okay, light green. It takes up less space. Now you go edit, and we're going to go light yellow. Okay, boom. This is going to go dark yellow. Okay, this is going to say brown, because you use up less real estate on the page, you use less paper. And then this one says avocado green, so I'm just gonna say green leaf. That's what I like to call it. There. Now save that again. And we go export as Tunisian crochet. Okay, and now we hit text. And I'm going to save it to the sunflower folder. This is going to be sunflower. Save. And there we go. There we've got the written pattern right here. Now what I'll do is I'll go and it gives the name of the file, which obviously is still reading screenshot, but we're going to go 140 across by 139 rows. Alternate at line will be 140 across by 10, 20 rows. Hit save. Now you can see this is light green 140, and then you start to change the color. You do 11 rows. Oh, but see, this is where it is. So you can actually start on row 12 right here. Called it green leaf, remember? That's funny. So you can skip all these light greens. You can go straight into light green, yellow. And what you would do with your foundation row is, because you've got different colors, you can use whatever color you want. I would probably use the background, of course, light green, because you make a foundation row of light green all the way across. And then when you turn, you come back and you create you count your rows, which is 140, sorry, your stitches, 140. Take your light green, make 140 chains. When you turn your work, you always add one and turn, and then go into the next stitch, do your 83 green, 3 yellow, 54 green, turn, continue on, 54 green, 5 yellow, 26 green, and so forth. And so then you can look at the rows here. You've got 139 rows. Again, here's the one where you can end off at. You don't need those extra. If you want those extra, you can also put them on at the end too. All you do is make a single crochet and do your border, and you can actually create 10 more rows of border around if it didn't look big enough to you. So that's a real benefit. So what I'll do with this text is then I export it as a PDF. That way it locks the font and the layout in to the document, so it can't be edited. So I'll just save that. We're going to close this. We're going to check it here. So this is the text file, which should have txt at the end. That, and then this is the PDF. So PDF. So when you open this and you take it to the printer, this is what you'll get. And you'll get 10 pages, which isn't even that bad either. Perfect. So there, I hope you like that. I'm just going to export a stitched view. I want to export a picture. However, that might just be the one. Not this one, this one. There. And that's it. Thanks for watching.